All right, let's watch this one. There is no sound except awesomeness visually. Absolutely fantastic. It is cool. So cool. I have, to be honest, not much to say about this one, but I picked this one just because it is awesome and I wanted to go through that frame by frame because it has a really good flow in terms of arcs, how the character holds and then goes into another arc with keeping silhouette as clean as possible with stretchy limbs. Like this whole shot one here works really well, and you can see how that how we go back with that big pull first with the broken limbs going into that stretch down. That's the only thing I would say is because we almost trained to look at it this way, and that arc because of those the spider webs, it's almost a bummer that it goes down this way. It's almost like we want to follow that a bit more. Again, not that that's a critique, it's just that's the only thing I would say. And potentially with those legs out so far and then coming into this, it's like, to me, it's like there's a more of a momentum going this way, with those lines, but also with legs out so far and then coming in, that I wish that next frame, it just feels like it needs to be this way and not down here. That's the only thing through there. Again, if you watch this, it just has a really good flow. I'm a big fan of making sounds as you animate and block things out. And this just has an over really good flow in terms of just the rhythm. Again, we come in with a nice silhouette. Again, there's nothing wrong. I would potentially bring this down, but at the same time, it also streamlines it really nicely. So every now and then there are things like, do you want that foot to be down lower for a nicer silhouette? Or is that going to break it up too much? Because then you have a nice contrast of that being fairly streamlined, because this is a bit more open, a bit more blocky in terms of those angles. I mean, there's always a valid back and forth. The only thing I would say is on something like this is that I would have either the knee out this way or still the knee out this way. Mainly because when it's silhouette like this, and it's good because it's so dark, you don't really understand the structure of that leg. And I know if you watch this in real time, it's so fast. You know what I mean? It's not like something that stands out. It's not a hold per se. But for anybody watching this, generally, I'll be careful. Like this makes more sense. This makes more sense in terms of structure of what the leg is. Any bends that's towards camera, that's an elbow or a leg bend, that's it away or straight away for you or straight towards you. We just don't understand that. This is, I mean, it's fairly stretched out, so it's okay. But this just feels silhouette-wise, if I do my squinty test, like a short leg. Like this would be the super picky thing. But again, going through, I love the stretchiness and everything, especially on fingers like that, because it is so fast. And love this. I mean, look at that. Such a fantastic smear frame. Again, this adds to the nice curvature of this. You could argue, well, maybe you could also separate it to give this a bit more of a nicer silhouette. Same with that elbow. It does that. I mean, it's technically, to me, like a tangent, but there's something about having that as one shape. Because if you watch this, I do register this frame. To me, this is more something that I see than feel. So if you watch this again, I see that. But the thing is, again, the argument could be that this is one nice line that re-emphasizes almost like the wheel aspect of a silhouette, if that makes sense. This is one long shape that works to drive home that circular fashion of this. And now as we stop, we can break this up because he comes to a stop. I mean, again, it doesn't always have to be, I'm not in the camp of everything always has to be a super clean silhouette, especially because like these are super clean. So to me, it almost feels like that's intentional, because there are some moments where you want to just simplify the shapes a bit and combine certain elements in terms of silhouette, and then get the contrast and get the clean silhouette for something like that. I mean, that to me is also totally valid. The only thing I would say on this one is that I wish that somehow this arm was either like that or like that or like that, so that when we come down here, it's more like this in terms of silhouettes. We don't have that big thing behind that, like where we start to lose the full forearm because it's overlapping. You got the tangent with the head there because we are lingering over two frames here and then out. That's the only thing. When I go in here, I wish that, it's such a cool pose to come in here and see him land on him to give this like the cleanest silhouette that you can imagine. Because if you continue on, all that is great. Then it gets again a bit where it's too bad, overlappy there. Do we need this? Do we need that tangent? I think this would be really cool for every frame to be that clean in terms of the separation of Spidey here and Doc Ock's arm. it just creates a connection there that I don't think we need. Because the only thing that would say, well, you can argue that we need that connection to visually prepare the audience that Spidey is going to land on that arm and slide down. But the thing is, that's not what's happening. Because it's a drop. You could say, well, maybe here, but then it continues to go down, and it's Spidey swinging itself down. That's the only thing I think I could totally see as an argument of there's a connection. We just visually get kind of prepared that they're connecting, but then I would have him go further back with that leg here, and then it's him using that and pushing that arm down. Opla, that's my face here. Doc Ock to go to the left here, and the same thing, somehow getting rid of that arm right behind that. Because again, we're lingering on those frames where it's a bummer that we don't have the cleanest silhouettes. Super picky. Again, this is a really, really cool shot. I'm just looking at, if I had to go in there frame by frame, which you don't when you watch those things for the first time, you don't. But it just adds, I think, an extra cleanliness, like here, not having that overlap there. But I love this. I mean, again, it's pretend you're ignoring all of this. I do want to point out like the nice arcs into this with the holds, with the explosive craziness of big silhouette, making that foot bigger here. And then you can see how it comes out down into this, holds for a little bit, and it comes out with that really nice hold, like really nice silhouette, and just a nice pose in general. And then being pulled down where it's almost like his face goes, oh, he grabbed me. And you don't have that in terms of eyebrows or Metal Gear Solid style exclamation marks. You got a big head that might, indicate that. And you got a really nice stretch there coming out into this. And I love that reversal where we kind of hold, and this up here comes down with that nice drag, holding this still here into that. And of course, into that close-up hold there. It's just so cool. Again, picky, picky, picky. And also, if you look at Doc Ock's body, if you just concentrate on the silhouette and the holds and the rhythm, like when does he hold and when does he go, right? All that has really nice, it's all clear. It's just clear what happens, the momentum, boom, just enough to get hit, but then to go back down. And it's also cool how it's held, but then that's like, oh no, I'm pulling myself back down into that pose, with a nice continuing overlap there on the feet or on the overshoot there. And they might argue then it's a bit poppy just a little bit from that foot there. And that's that. And again, picky, I'll probably bring that arm down into this so that foot is clear for silhouette, and anything, that thing as well to keep that. Because you got the glove and the hair that gets kind of dark, plus this. I think this could be cleaned up in terms of silhouette. Again, as I'm saying this, I feel bad because it's not a bad shot. I picked this shot on purpose because it is so good. Yeah, I mean, I'll leave it at that. It's just a really, really well done shot. It's also good that it's very clear in terms of the holds and where he goes, because with nothing in frame, like there's no building, there are no cubes or nothing, we don't know if that's Spidey or if the camera is adding anything. But it's very clear. I don't see any problems in terms of weird jerky moves or something that's confusing, because I'm assuming that's a static camera. But if anybody's watching this and you do something like this and you have a pan and tilt to follow Spidey, I would have objects in there, anything, so we understand, oh, there is a move in the camera, be it a translate or a rotate. Here it works because we got shadow, we got contact points, and there's a bit of a horizon line and shadowing. So if the camera moves here, we would understand it to some degree. I say this and I see movement in the feet as I'm scrubbing. I didn't see that before. Is that a camera move? Because you can see the feet again moving slightly to the right there. So that's something that I would personally not do. Because right now what's happening is that it feels like we're probably translating away, since this is moving this way and that foot is going this way. So for something like that, I'll probably not move the camera at all. But that is that. Thank you.